Skol, everybody. We have the Vikings versus the Packers. Game 2 in US Bank. This is the GMG preview show. Now, 40 years ago, the Vikings slogan was 40 for 60. And they were battling another division rival, the Detroit Lions. And it came down to one game. And in that game, it happened to be on Thanksgiving in a snowy field in Detroit, where the Vikings took charge. The defensive line took charge. And in it, Alan Page tipped a pass. Jim Marshall intercepted and then lateraled back to Page for the heart-wrenching touchdown that just absolutely defeated the will of the opponent. Hopefully on Monday night, we will see the exact same thing. Only the opponent and that quarterback will be Aaron Rodgers, and he will have his will ripped from within his chest. And we will see our defense do just as well. Now, in today's show, we're going to preview all of that and then get into a little trivia. But the little trivia this time is about every Vikings that have scored against Green Bay in our history. Oh, glorious moment for sure. Good morning, Gallahorn! Here we are again for our Christmas show, coming into week 16 of the NFL season, where that team from Wisconsin comes down to Minnesota to play in US Bank Stadium on Monday night. And as we all know, US Bank Stadium is under the roof and on turf, and all that's great for the Minnesota Vikings. So, first I want to welcome my co-hosts. We have Drew and Ted. Ted, how are you doing?
How am I always doing, boys?
Gentlemen,
Rugby against the wall. Let's go.
he's our favorite elf. I used to work for Santa. Got fired for drinking on the job. Drink these
I
little
know
elf.
the feeling.
I wanted to be a dentist.
How you doing, Drew?
Saw that the other day on that Rudolph special.
Yeah.
Want to be a dentist. Do you see what I see? What up, lumberjack? I'm doing good.
Hey, I'm in the holiday spirit.
10-4.
Got my
How
hat
you
on.
doing bad? 10-4. I'm feeling pretty good after that big win.
Mm-hmm. Especially after the defense actually put up some impressive points of interest, keeping the score down and generating 7 turnovers.
Yeah, well, we're on to the next week. It's all about the next week, David. Once we move forward, we move forward. We don't look back. We're not known to look back. I look back a lot of Ted's poster behind him, but that's just me. We try to look forward. We're going forward. We got that ugly-ass cheese dick team from Wisconsin coming in. We have a little payback for them. We had 2 big division games to end it out. We're still chasing the division. Everybody in the NFC is just on fire, moving through the ranks there. But putting these numbers together, Ted, I'm telling you, the Pack are looking like pretenders, man.
I want you, I was looking at them, and I don't want to steal your thunder. I want you to go through the numbers, and then I have a question for the floor.
Okay, let me go through. I'll just do some quick intro numbers. The rushing, we have the passing, the rushing, the offense, and the defense, and then we have the referees. We have a little graph that David David made us watch that up there.
And I even did some research on that one.
Okay, the Packs offense and their defense. The offense is 21st overall, and their defense is 23rd. So they're 21st and 23rd. I have no idea how they're 11-3, but if you look down at the turnovers, you'd know why. They're second in the league to the Patriots in turnovers. They're plus 14.
Oof.
So that's how they're getting it done, is getting a lot of turnovers. I was shocked when I looked and I saw they're over 20 in both offensive and defensive rankings. So that usually doesn't transpire to 11-3 team.
No.
So we're their defense is just looked at 22nd against the pass and 24th against the run. So the Vikes, and they're 11-3 leading the division.
I thought Mike Pettin was supposed to be some defensive genius that made them the fearsome defense of all time.
He's petting the wrong thing.
Well, even the advanced stats have them on offense. They have them 8th for the pass and 4th for the rush, 6th overall. And on defense, they have them.
Wait a minute. On offense, they're 6th overall?
On Pro Football Outsiders.
The NFL ranking is 21st overall.
There's a huge disparity. And that's different than what PFF does, too. PFF has them, let's see, on offense, they have them.
I just go
12.
Yards. That's all I go by, yards.
Right, but I'm going by, like I said, for the advanced stats. And then on defense, they have Green Bay 16th against the pass and 25th against the rush.
It's about the same.
For 20th overall, PFF has them on defense 6th overall. Where they get 6th, I have no idea.
Oh.
Yeah, the numbers are there's a big disparity in the numbers. Which transpires me to thinking if the Vikings play a clean game, Ted, they're going to roll through this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sounds like it, and you think that. And so my question was, and you answered it. I said, you had all those less than impressive statistical numbers, and I was thinking to myself, how in the world is this team 11-3? And it's obviously turnovers, and then that makes sense when you look back to week 2. They
Right.
had 3 turnovers. The Vikings, Kirk Cousins had 3 turnovers, to include that one really bad interception. Well, they had a turnover early in the first half, deep in Vikings territory. The Packers converted that to a touchdown. I think that was when they went up 21-0 or 14-0. And then he had that really bad interception in the red zone when it looked like, as terribly as they had played, they were in position to take a lead late in the fourth quarter, I think, with just, a few minutes to go. So, yeah, I absolutely agree. If the Vikings can play decent, fundamentally sound football and not turn the ball over, they should win. The Packers, I keep thinking of the Packers when they went to San Francisco and just got absolutely throttled. And if they don't, I hate to say it, the refs decide these games, but there's a couple games this year I watched, and the refs absolutely determine the outcome of a couple games. One of them being the Vikings game with that touchdown they took off the board that Stefon Diggs had right before halftime. That they haven't done on that scoring review on the pass interference. They haven't. I don't think that's been overturned again yet this year. If it has, it's been.
The only time it's been overturned is when New York stepped in within like the last 2 minutes, and they reviewed it. But it has not been overturned once by a coach challenge.
So, yeah, I think if the Vikings play like they've been playing and don't turn the ball over, I think they're going to have a very good night. Because on paper, I'd even say quarterback at this point, at least this year, not obviously over the body of the career, but Kirk Cousins is playing better than Aaron Rodgers is this year, or as well as.
Better.
As well as.
By most statistics, he's playing better.
So, yeah, it's a game the Vikings should win. They're at home. They've got a lot more to play for in terms of trying to win the division. They have to win out to even have a chance at winning the division, and it starts against Green Bay. So, yeah, let's go.
Starts now.
Monday night.
They have to get it done. They had, but they're the only team that hasn't lost at home, correct?
We are
Correct.
the only
Yeah.
team.
Right. There's no reason to start now. I think Cousins is playing great. The fact that he's just laying low and not really getting ripped on every week is probably fine with him. He's not putting up big stats, but he's right there. He's the quarterback and he's winning these games. He's figuring out a way to get it. I think he's playing great.
Mm-hmm.
With the pack, it's always Rodgers, it's Jones, it's that wideout Adams,
Davante Adams,
and it's for this year especially. And I'm not worried about Zimmer plotting against Rodgers. This is the 11th time he's faced him. He does a pretty good job against Rodgers. He knows what Rodgers does. Zimmer knows.
Yeah.
Zimmer knows what to do. When he gets out of the pocket, stay on your guy. Don't try to run up and tackle him, and then you stay on your guy. But with that team from Wisconsin this year, it's really about those two Smiths, Zadarius Smith and what's another guy's name? Preston Smith. They have 35 team sacks, and those two have 21 and a half of them.
Really?
Yeah, Preston has 11.5 and Zadarius has 10.
Wow.
Yeah, so Zimmer has to know if the pressure's coming, it's coming from those two guys. I mean, they only have 14 other sacks tallied up as a team. So those are the guys. I mean, the numbers shoot right out at you. Those are the two guys you got to control. And, what's the easiest way to beat Minnesota? Pressure Cousins. That's where you start, and it all falls apart from there. So we have to be on those guys. They have to be taken account for. They have to be chopped off at the knees. You got to use your brain. You got to... it's obvious though, Ted. It's like when you're playing Reggie White or whatever. You got to account for these guys, these big players, these good guys. Can't let the good guys kill you.
Well, one thing, and another thing I want to point out from that Week 2 game, and this was a big problem the Vikings had earlier in the season, is I went back through, I looked through it, Pro Football Focus. Kirk Cousins was pressured 18 times that game out of,
really?
I want to say 33 pass attempts. I could be off by one or two. He has not been pressured that much in any game this year. He has not been pressured more in any other game this year. The closest he came to was the Kansas City game, where he was pressured, I want to say it was 14 times. He hasn't had double-digit pressures since that Kansas City game. So the Vikings offensive line has really done a remarkable turnaround from that Week 2 game, that Week 4 game even against the Bears. And I would argue if they keep playing that way and take the way they've been playing into Monday night, give Kirk Cousins time to set up and throw the ball, open holes for probably Mike Boone. Mattison didn't play last week. I don't think Dalvin Cook the way it's sounding on Twitter from a couple of NFL insiders. The Vikings will be okay. They've got to handle the Green Bay pressure, though.
Well, PFF, why am I frozen at my end?
I wasn't aware there was that many pressures that game, Ted. That's good knowledge. That is.
Yeah, I remember him being under heavy pressure that game, and I went back to look to make sure, and to make sure I wasn't saying, because I'm doing a question and answer with another site, so
now,
I want to make sure my facts were right.
Is it all O-line, or have they changed their passing attack since then? I mean, I think there's it has to be O-line. I mean, they have played better, but have they changed their scheme of the 3-step drops and they're getting rid of the ball quicker? I mean, I can't remember a lot of those. I can't remember what I had for dinner last night. I don't remember much about that game. So
I think they're doing a lot more play action rollout too.
I love that play, man.
Yeah, and it's only been stopped by a couple teams this year, and until a team can stop it, keep doing it. And then when it has been stopped, I thought Kevin Stefanski's done a good job of instead of doing the play action rollout, going to screens and quick slants and stuff like that to counter the pressure of the stuff that teams are throwing at them in terms of adjustments. So I really like how Stefanski has been able to do that this year as well. And I think the Vikings have a pretty good plan for the Packers.
I love that play action rollout. Actually Cousins is good rolling out either direction. You don't have to roll him out one way. You know what play I really like, and I've saw it work like 3 or 4 times? he does that play action rollout to his right, and then he lets everybody get in the flow or the mosh pit, all going to the right, and then he throws that pass back to Rudy against the grain. Mm-hmm. And every time he's done it, if Rudy was faster, he'd have a touchdown every time he caught it. But I think I've seen it 3 times, and Rudolph has ran for like 25 yards each time. It's a beautiful play because everybody gets into the flow, and he kind of just falls behind it. It's a great design. And I wouldn't be surprised. I want to see that again Monday night.
I would hope they do it. Is Dave, you still here?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
My camera, for some reason, is shut down.
Silent night, holy night.
Well, Dave, while you were working on your camera, you were talking about. You said you looked up something about the ref stats.
Yes.
Let's hear it.
All right. The crew for this game is headed up by Bill Vinovich. And I looked up Bill Vinovich. This is the second Vikings game that he has refereed this year. And guess what the first one was?
Oh, no.
No, it wasn't against that team from Wisconsin.
Bears.
No, it was the Falcons.
Okay.
Which is surprising. But I looked up his season stats. He calls this season more fouls against the home team than he does against the away team by almost 5%. And the home team loses more under him than does the away team.
So what you're saying is we need Vinovich to be inexplicably absent Monday morning?
Yeah, call your Uncle Vinny. All right, no, but Vinovich does not look like he is one of those guys that gets influenced by the home crowd. Actually, that he overcompensates for the home crowd. So we have that to look forward to. And as Drew's graphic shows, it shows us, offensive rank, defensive rank, the whole works, both teams. When it comes down to favorable calls by NFL officials, guess which team ranks number 1?
Gouda.
Detroit.
That's right.
Gouda cheese.
Gouda. The Cheeseheads. That team from Wisconsin. Yes, they do. And Minnesota is down at the bottom of the list.
I ain't worried about nobody's Vinovich. When we're up 4 TDs, he can call the offside shit he wants.
Well, and I think that's going to happen. Now, I do anticipate some big days, hopefully, from Adam Thielen getting that second game in under his belt. Stefon Diggs being there. I think, even though stats show that you can run against Green Bay, I think it's going to be a pass to set up the run type of game, where we're doing throw the ball and then drop in Boone or Mattison if he's healthy. Because I agree with you, Ted. I think I read where they're looking to keep Cook out for a couple of games. So, and do it that way.
So give me your players of the game. I'm going to write them down right now for each of you.
I'm going to go with Kirk Cousins.
Okay. Charlie Daniels.
Adam Thielen. Well, you asked the question, Drew. Who do you think is going to be your person of the game?
Being I'm wearing the Robert Smith jersey.
An all-time great purple Buckeye.
Don't ruin my time there. Don't ruin it. I think I'm looking forward to Mike Boone this week. I'm anxious to see what he can do back there because he was running angry against the Chargers and he was laughing while he was running. There's a couple clips when you laugh when you run. I like that. So I'm seeing, like Ted said, Mattison or Cook doesn't think he's going to play. I don't know how it's going to shake out. If Mattison and Cook are out, I'm going to go with Boone. If not, I'm going to go also with Cousins. I think Cousins, this is his game.
I liked Boone ran angry, but he also had moves, and he was in and out.
Right.
He had no problem running around people.
He didn't look like a third-string running back, did he?
No, not at all.
He looked great.
Which was sweet. With that, Drew, do you have a game today?
I have something very special set up for you guys that I worked on late last night. I was up working on it late because I care about this show. I do.
Hey, you put forth the effort to study that opposition team's history. I couldn't do it. It was just nauseating to me.
What I have in front of me, gentlemen, and we're going to split this into two different trivia games because one would be too long. So we'll do one today, and then maybe we'll do one for In the Raw if it's not too late at night or next week or something.
Depends how In the Raw goes.
Yeah, we can't put this all into one day. It would be too much. But what I have in front of me in my hot little fist right now is every single player who scored a touchdown for the Vikings against the Packers since 1961. I got them all right here. I went back and looked at every box score from 1961 all the way to the present.
Jeez.
Wow.
Come on. That's where you give me the applause.
I mean, that's bravo. Yes, bravo.
Guess how many players have scored against them?
70-something.
I'm going to go.
Quarterbacks included.
Quarterbacks years. I'm talking
60 years.
305.
146 different players, including quarterbacks, have scored.
Okay.
These games include regulation and playoff games. Every game we've played against them. The only variance will be the 1960s. Some of the years we only played them one time. We weren't playing them two times. What I need you to do is you get to pick 3 decades out of the 6. That's how we're splitting up the 2 games.
Okay.
So you guys decide what 3 decades out of the 6 you'd like, and then the other 3 that we don't use today we'll use for the following. We'll use for the following.
Okay.
And what's your record going into today? Don't even tell me you forgot after I did all this fucking work last night.
30. It's like 30, 36,
40.
40. It was 36. It's now 40.
Thank you, Dave, for paying attention. At least David pays attention. 40 is your record. 40 is your record. So you need to select 3 decades, and I'll be fair, the 60s decade has the least amount of players because, like I said, they only played them one time per year for like 4 or 5 years.
Well, so you got and the teams were all pretty much the same. You didn't have free agency either.
Correct. 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010. You get to choose 3 decades from those 6.
I want to take the 1970s.
Okay.
I
have them all broken down by decade. Is that nerdy or what?
The 2010s.
70s, 2010s. Okay.
And let's go with the 2000s.
You can ask me how many players were at each specific position, so you know already.
Okay.
And each year we start the decade. I will give you how many defensive touchdowns there were per decade.
Okay. Can I write?
Yes, I want you to write. I want you to write.
All right. We're doing the 70s first.
We're doing the 70s first. The defense players that scored that year, it was a safety, a linebacker, a corner, and another linebacker. So 2 linebackers, a safety, and a corner. We had 4 defensive touchdowns that year.
In the 70s.
This list will include, you might want to write this down, 4 quarterbacks, 7 running backs, 5 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, and 4 defensive players. And this is 1970 to 1979, because 7 does not have an 8. It's going to need your brain on this one, Ted. Dave, you need your eyes. Wrestling, use your mind. You're going to need to think.
All right, the quarterbacks. I want to start with the quarterbacks first.
Sir Francis.
Tarkenton.
Yes.
There's
a possible 22 for this decade. There's 22 players that scored this decade.
So it would have been targeted from 73 on. Gary Cuozzo.
That's 2 of the 4.
Joe Cap.
No,
Oh.
you get 3 mulligans per decade, and then I'm shutting you down. That's one.
I'll shut up.
No,
Bob Lee.
I didn't mean that to deter your guessing. I'm just letting you know. Bob Lee is on there. That's 3 or 4 on the quarterback.
And then Bob Berry.
No, that's 2 mulligans.
Oh, jeez. All right.
That's not good when you got 3 more positions to go.
I know. So running backs, Foreman.
Yes.
Ricky Young.
Yes. Good job.
Ted Brown. No.
No, it was not on there, but you saved it with the
Ted
note.
Brown back. I take Ted Brown back.
Okay, that's correct because he wasn't on there. He got drafted in '79,
Yeah.
but he didn't play much the first season. He didn't score a touchdown, that's for sure.
Foreman, Young. Dave Osborne.
Yes. You know the way to do this is probably to just jump around from each position and name the obvious guys so you can stack up points before you mulligan out. That's the way
Yeah. Wide receiver, Sammy White, Ahmad Rashad.
Yes, they're both on there.
Tight ends got to be Stu Voigt.
That's right. There's 2 tight ends.
Yeah.
Kind of amazing there was only 2 tight ends that whole decade that scored touchdowns against Green Bay.
If you get a good one, you keep them for a while.
That's true. Those were good ones. Don't forget about big wideout, my boy, Johnny, my number 42. He's my boy in the 70s.
Oh, John Gilliam. Yeah.
He has to be included in this. So I had to give you a hint on that one. So right now out of 22, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of 22.
And we're at 2 mulligans already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you can get a third mulligan, but you just can't go over 3.
Okay.
Your 4th mulligan would be. So you have 1 mulligan to play with. Third mulligan doesn't end the decade. The 4th one would end it. You get 3 mulligans. So just to be clear on that.
So I'm thinking wide receiver, White, Rashad, Gilliam. Lash.
No.
Really?
No, he had a lot of catches in that decade because I've seen his name come up a lot, but he did not have a touchdown. He did not have a touchdown. So defense, you got some from every group. Defense is still open. There was a safety, 2 linebackers, and a cornerback. If you wanted to go that route, also you're out of mulligans. So shit hits the fan if you miss one more.
Cornerback.
And there's a quarterback I'm surprised you haven't got.
Snead?
No.
Yeah, I'm done.
Gene Washington was one that caught one during that time period.
Yes. Gene Washington did catch a touchdown.
In the 70s?
Yes.
Well, yeah, that would have been like 70, 71. Yeah, I was thinking 60s.
When you hear Gene Washington, what do you think of?
What do you mean, what do I think of? I think he was probably the best Vikings receiver 1969 team.
Is that what you associate him with? I associate him with the Players Union. Wasn't he the head of the Players Union?
I think that's a different Gene Washington.
There's 2 Gene Washingtons. That's the
Yeah.
Union was the other guy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You got 11.
Wow, that's bad. All right, so let me see if I can fill in the safety, Paul Krause.
Shit, why didn't you say that? You could have got another one.
I wasn't sure.
Paul Krause had an interception return for a touchdown. That's correct.
Yeah, but didn't he have like 70-some-odd interceptions?
Yeah.
Paul Krause?
81 total.
Yeah, he was a safety. There's 3 more defensive guys.
How he didn't make the
Bobby
NFL
Bryant
100.
was the corner.
Was he really?
Bobby Bryant had a
linebacker. Matt Blair?
No. Hilgenberg had a pick 6. And the other one was 1974, the great Amos Martin on a 15-yard fumble return.
I'd have never gotten that one.
The quarterback you missed was Tommy Kramer.
Oh, no!
You guys should both get huge demerits for that. I mean,
should.
If I was there, I'd smack each in the face, dude.
Because Kramer, well, see, my thinking was Kramer was drafted in 77.
Yeah, but he played in this.
But then Tarkenton came back and played in 78.
But Kramer was there the whole 79 season.
Yeah, and I couldn't remember if Kramer started in 79, if there was somebody else. So I wasn't 100% sure about Tommy.
Okay, the running backs you missed were Clint Jones, Ed Marinero, Robert Miller, and the great Sammy Johnson, big fullback, number 48. I remember him.
Yep.
The wide receiver you missed was Bobby Grimm, which isn't a big deal because his career was pretty grim. But you got 11.
Tight end?
Oh, the other tight end was Bobby Tucker, number 38.
Okay.
Yeah, him and Voigt were like, you know what? They don't get talked about a lot. That was a huge security blanket for Tucker. Was a huge security guy for Fran Tarkenton.
Really?
Yeah.
So Voigt has more of a name than Tucker does.
He does, but Tucker has more of a career with Fran because he played with him in New York.
New York, yeah, that's right.
So you got 11 on that one. We scoot forward to 2000 through 2009. Dun, 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 dun. This decade is a possible 35 players. That's how times change.
Jeez.
You got 7 quarterbacks.
Yeah, about to say multiple quarterbacks.
You got 10 running backs. You got 9 wide receivers to choose from, 5 tight ends, and 4 defensive touchdowns. 2 linebackers and 2 corners. I always give you the positions on the defense because it's harder. Oh, okay. This is 2000, 2009.
One of the corners was Fred. Water covers 70% of the earth. I cover the other 30%. Smoot.
There you go. That's one right off the bat. Freddie Smoot with a 47-yard pick six, baby. So there's 2 linebackers and 1 corner.
Quarterbacks.
Do you want me to go with what I know?
You got 2 quarterbacks.
You want me to go with what I know?
Yeah, go.
All right, Culpepper.
Yes, he's on there.
George. Jeff George.
Jeff George is not on there.
Really?
You already got your first mulligan. That's your second mulligan.
No, Dave.
You guys are
Dave Cunningham wasn't even on the team in 2000.
Yeah.
Ted's going, wait! So flag! Oh man, that's like opening. That's like being the leadoff hitter in the game and you hit the nuts with a fastball.
We had guys on first and second, nobody out. You had to do a triple play.
1 mulligan left, and then it's wank. So
I got one, but it's
so wide receivers. Dave, shut up for a while.
Okay.
You got Freddie Smoot and Dante.
Wide receiver Moss.
Yes.
Running back Adrian Peterson, obviously. Robert Smith.
Yes. AP, Robert Smith.
God, 10 running backs.
Yeah.
Who backed up those guys?
Some pretty good
tight ends. Shanko was 1.
Yes. Shanko was 1.
Come on.
Quarterbacks would have been.
There's still 6 quarterbacks to choose from.
5, 6. Brad Johnson.
Yes.
Traverse Jackson.
Yes.
Yes.
He is on there. The
Favre.
Jump pass king. Favre is on there. 2009, 2010.
Out yonder.
What?
Let's see.
2 minutes to midnight.
Gus Frerotte.
That's correct. You got all but 2, and they suck.
Nuggets and yonder.
Bad. These last 2.
God, I want to say a running back, but that's early in the decade, and If I'm wrong, we're done.
No, you're not done. You have one more mulligan. The fourth mulligan is you're done.
Leroy Horde?
That is not on my list. So there's your third. Now you have no wiggle room. No wiggly room. We all know about wiggle room back in college.
Man.
Yeah, you got 8 running backs still.
Who was the starting running back prior to Adrian?
Chester Taylor.
Correct. See, Dave's got some strategy going there. Let's backtrack from the guys.
Now was the steal of the draft, Mr. Wisnator himself.
There is a ton of guys on here.
Yeah, Ontario Smith.
Ontario Smith is on there. Ontario! We sat next to his mother at a Vikings game one day, me and Ruby. Fantastic, lovely lady. Lovely lady. Could scream at the best of them. And let me tell you, I ain't seen a lady power down nachos quite like that. There's a ton of people on here. I mean, think about Brett Favre's season. Who he was throwing
Sidney
to.
Rice.
Right?
Berrien.
That's right.
Dugan is a tight end.
Hey, now we're rolling. Cooking with gas. After Dave yelling out Jeff George.
Sorry.
Stop.
Rice, Berrien.
See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 so far out of the 35.
Marcus Robinson.
15 of the 35. That's 16 of the 35. Marcus Robinson is ding, ding, ding. Correct.
How about Charlie?
Who? Charlie who?
Charlie.
What the fuck does that mean?
CC, Chris Carter.
Oh, yeah, he's on there. Sorry, I got lost on the...
No, I was trying to give Ted some phonetic help.
If you want to talk amongst yourselves, it's off the record. It's cool. You can talk. I don't put that down as a guess. Like if you want to guess between each other and go, you think that's on there? You can do that. That's fine. That's fine if you want to discuss shit.
I'm trying to think who was like the running back between like Robert Smith. You had Ontario Smith in there. Like 01-02.
One of Dave's favorite Vikings of all time is on this list, and he hasn't said it yet. And I'm kind of shocked.
Number 40 from North Dakota.
Saucer.
Yep, Jimmy K. You guys got about...
Yeah, but there's 2 more quarterbacks.
You got about half of them. There's 2
and
quarterbacks.
Since I'm talking to Ted, McNabb, and Ponder.
Oh, yeah, Ponder. Duh. Yeah, Ponder.
He didn't score?
Ponder never had a touchdown against the Packers?
No.
In that decade?
You got to be shitting me.
No.
He was bad, but he wasn't that bad.
I never seen him registered one. I looked through the box scores. If you want to find one, I'll grant you the. I will grant you the.
No, you know what? No, Ponder was 2011.
That's right.
Dave. Ponder didn't even get drafted until 2011.
Nah.
That's a bummer. Let's see what you got. One,
then
2.
What about McNabb?
No, that was 2011.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
was
13,
Kelly
14,
Holcomb one of the quarterbacks?
17, 18. Yes, he was.
And then Brooks Bollinger?
No, Spurgeon.
Spurgeon Wynn.
Spurgeon Wynn?
Yeah. Spurgeon Wynn had a touchdown against the Packers. So you got 18 out of 35. Added to your 11 gives you...
What stars did we miss in the 2000s?
That gives you 29, Ted, and your record is?
40.
Good man. And you got 1 decade left, so you can still get it. You got 1 decade left to get 12. Here's who you missed. Spurgeon Wynn, Kelly Holcomb. Running backs you missed. Mo Williams, the great John Avery, Michael Bennett, Mewelde Moore.
Yes, Mewelde.
Seatric Faison, the pride of the Florida Gators. Seatric Faison.
I missed Nate Burleson, too. He had him.
Nate Burleson. Wide receivers. Nate Burleson, Dwayne Bates, the great Billy McMullen, Percy Harvin.
How about Corn Robinson?
No, he was not on there.
Okay.
Billy McMullen, Percy Harvin. 3 tight ends you missed were Johnny McWilliams, Byron Chamberlain, and Jermaine Wiggins.
Oh, Wiggins.
And the defensive players, you got Fred Smoot. Kylie Wong had a pick 6. Chris Claiborne had a 15-yard interception return. And the great Davante Edwards had a 51-yard interception return.
All right.
So you're at 29, your record's 40, and the last decade that you chose to pick were 2010 through 2019. There's 24 players who scored touchdowns against the Pack.
All right.
But there was only one defensive touchdown. Only one. But since the decade's so recent, I imagine you can come up with it. And let me start out by saying Jeff George is not in this. Okay?
He's still on standby on the phone waiting for a call.
There are 24 players who scored. Only one of them is defense. You have 6 quarterbacks. Kind of crazy. 6 quarterbacks. 5 running backs, 10 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, along with the 1 defensive player. So it's 6 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 10 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. And it's all on you guys. 3 mulligans allowed.
So, Ponder. Quarterback.
Yes.
Ohio State great Michael Jenkins is a wide receiver.
You know what? If these players are from Ohio State, you don't need to announce. Michael Jenkins. There was one I thought you wouldn't get. Good job, dude.
I remember that from that 2012 game that got him into the playoffs on AP's. AP.
Remember how good Jenkins was for Atlanta? We were all fired up. All right, we're getting it. He wasn't near as good.
Yeah.
That was a lot. Okay.
Tight end Rudolph.
Did you say AP?
I said AP.
Yes.
So I've got Ponder as a quarterback.
Right.
AP as a running back.
Okay.
Jenkins.
Okay.
Kyle Rudolph.
Yes. Yes. This is going to have a lot of modern guys on it, which is cool. I expect you guys to ace all 24 of these guys.
Randy Moss. Second go around.
Yes.
Yes. Good one, Dave.
That's good thinking right there. Dave, you took that fucking Santa hat off, put his thinking cap on.
It's still on there. I just remember when he came back and was playing with Brett Favre.
Rock this decade, you get the new record. Right now you're at 34. You're 6 off the record pace.
Greg Jennings.
Greg Jennings is... Where is he? Oh, he's on there. Greg Jennings. Wow, that was close. I didn't see him for a second. Yes, there's 1 tight end. You got a lot of wideouts left. You got 5 quarterbacks left, and you got 4 running backs left.
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook has scored against Green Bay. Touchdown last year.
Stefon Diggs.
Stefon Diggs has scored against Green Bay. Touchdown. Mini, probably. I think he scored 2 or 3.
Adam Thielen.
Adam Thielen has scored against that cheese dick defense up in Lambeau when he threw that pass that split the 2 defenders. That was beautiful, dude. Yes, you got those. You're up to 9.
Quarterback Cousins.
Cousins did throw a touchdown against Green Bay, and he's going to throw Monday night. Going to have 4 more Monday night.
Sam Bradford.
Yes. 3 quarterbacks left. Yeah, no mulligans yet. You guys are on a roll, dude.
Who do we list as quarterbacks?
Teddy.
Yes. You got 2 left.
We got Ponder, Cousins, Bradford, Teddy.
Yeah.
2 more played in this decade. 2 more played in this decade that scored against Green Bay.
Matt Castle.
Incorrect. First one.
Oh,
really?
Bradford.
First.
I said Bradford.
Oh, you said Bradford.
You got Ponder, Bridgewater, Bradford, and Cousins. You're missing 2 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, 5 wide receivers.
McNabb.
No. Second mulligan.
Jarius Wright.
Jarius Wright is on there. Excellent. Good job, Dave.
Hey, guaranteed to catch a third down for pass for a first down.
Never got rid of that guy.
He was stupid. They never should have.
There's a guy on this list that you completely missed with the last decade, so don't miss him again. Wideout. I'm going to give you that hint because I don't want to see him get left off again. I don't think he was much around in this decade, but he did catch a touchdown against that team from Wisconsin. But I don't want to steer you where to go. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 more wideouts left. And one of them is still on the Vikings today.
I'm trying to. I hate it. I get put under pressure. I'm drawing a blank.
Your favorite wideout on the Vikings.
What's that?
Favorite wide receiver on the Vikings.
Tree Stump?
Yes!
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Had that first quarter.
He had that one last year.
Excellent job. Good job, David. 2 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, 3 wideouts, 1 tight end, and 1 defensive player is all you got left. You're doing good.
We've gone over Adrian Peterson. We've gone over Dalvin Cook.
Jarek McKinnon.
Yes, very good.
When I arm slap, that means I like your answer more than usual. Yes, the Jet.
Latavius Tate Murray.
No, he's not on there.
What?
No, he's not on there. He's not one of the 2 remaining running backs. That's your last mulligan. You cannot miss anymore, or it's dun 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 dun.
Maybe one of the fullbacks like C.J. Ham, but that's not it. That's not it.
No, no, it's not Ham, but
it's one of the fullbacks.
One is you're gonna say, "Oh shit," when they.
Wide receiver.
One was supposed to be Christian McCaffrey.
What?
One was supposed to be our Christian McCaffrey from Stanford.
Gerhardt.
Bernhardt.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's the last hint I'm giving you, too. Well, I would give you one more. The last running back's a total prick, and I hate him, and I'd punch him if I seen him. But you got more to choose from. Two quarterbacks, 1 running back, 3 wideouts, and a tight end. Wow, you guys got it down to the nitty-gritty here.
Cordarrelle Patterson.
Yes!
Yeah, good job.
Patterson
that kickoff return.
Who would the quarterback be? So when we're saying the 2010s, are we saying from 2010 to 2019 or 2011 to 2019?
2010.
So 2010, one of the quarterbacks would be Favre then.
Yes. I can't believe the last guy that's on the quarterback list, I thought you would be first chosen.
God, I'm trying to think. So it was Favre, and then 11 they drafted Ponder and had McNabb, and it wasn't McNabb.
Keep going.
Ponder started in 2012.
Keep going.
He started in 2013 and got subbed out for Castle.
Right.
And then it was Teddy, and I got Teddy on there already.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have Tavares in there at one point?
No.
And then
Bradford.
Teddy got hurt, and it was Bradford.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was
Staring you right in the face.
Oh, Case Keenum.
There you go.
Case Keenum.
Come on, boys.
Mm-hmm.
Casey of the Keenum of the University of Houston.
Another tight end, Rhett Ellison.
Rhett Ellison's on here, but he scored it as a running back, so you still get credit for it. He was the last running back. Rhett Ellison.
He was my daddy says it's too tough to be in Minnesota.
That's why he's a dick. So you got all the quarterbacks, you got all the running backs. All you have left is 2 wideouts, 1 tight end, and 1 defensive player. That is really good. That means 1, 2. You got 20 of 24 right now, gentlemen.
We've kind of redeemed ourselves.
Still not happy. Record. You're 49. You set the new record.
I can't think of any more wide receivers.
More wide receivers.
13. I'm trying to think. No, wouldn't be Mike Wallace's only touchdown was against Denver.
Correct. It was not him.
It's got to be like somebody on the fringe that didn't get a whole lot of play.
You've gotten 20 to 24. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, who are we missing?
The defensive touchdown was 2015 Captain Motherland on a 55-yard fumble return. Captain Motherland.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Why we let him go.
The tight end was Vicente Shaenko.
Really?
He got a touchdown.
Oh, in 2010, yeah.
2 wideouts were Percy Harvin.
Yes.
How could I forget Percy?
We got him last decade, too.
No.
Forgotten all the way around. And the last player, 23 of 24, was a wide receiver named Charles Johnson. He scored against.
That's right, yeah.
But that was really an impressive comeback, which your 3 decades add up to 49, which is higher than 40. I don't know math, but I know that's true. And that is your new record until we do the other 3 decades. You might break it then. You see why I have to split it up. It's kind of a long game,
yes. And we're already over an hour.
But it was fun. It was a lot of research on my part, but I liked doing it. I thought this would be a fun thing since we have this week with the team from Wisconsin. Breakdown. It's all good.
Touchdowns. The second
Touchdowns are always fun.
Maybe when we play them in the playoffs, which is a possibility.
Possible.
So we get in the playoffs if the Niners win.
Yeah, the Rams have to lose 1 of 2, or the Vikings win 1 of 2, and the Vikings are in.
Yes, 100%.
I mean, we all kind of want that to happen.
Yeah.
But do you think that's going to have any bearing to do on Monday night's performance?
No, I still think they're going to play for.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't think so.
I
think they're going to be gunning to try and win the division.
Mm-hmm.
Good. That's what I hope.
And I'm hoping that with Detroit announcing that they're going with Pat Patricia another year, Pat Patricia, Chlamydia Patricia, whatever, that Detroit comes out on that last week and beats Green Bay. But
David, I'm sure there's a Pat Patricia in his family somewhere. So
I'm sure there is. That name sticks to my head. I know a Pat Patricia.
I was happy to hear about that news. Keep him every year.
Yes, that's right.
Come on,
it's like a gift to the NFC North.
He'd probably do 1 more year since he didn't have his starting quarterback, so it's probably fair. Mm-hmm. But he's not going to – they're saying today he needs a comeback like the Niners had this year. Lions aren't doing that. So,
any challenges coming up to this game?
It's important this week because that team from Wisconsin relies so much on the turnovers. I challenge the Vikings to have a clean game, no turnovers.
I challenge the Minnesota Vikings and Kirk Cousins in particular. Outplay Aaron Rodgers, a good team in prime time, and shut everybody up. He's doing a good job of doing it so far, but just shut him up for good. And we'll see you in the playoffs.
Damn good challenge.
I challenge that defense, the Minnesota Vikings defense, to keep up with that cornerback rotation and keep the points below the Mendoza line. And for those that don't know, the Mendoza line is 17 points allowed. You keep it below that like we did last week, Minnesota walks out victorious.
Shout out to Mario Mendoza and Vince Coleman. I like the good challenges, guys. Those are good.
Last words, Drew.
Meow, meow, Viking cow. Win it.
Ted.
Super Bowl boy, see you Miami.
Skol, everybody. As you can see, we're in a festive mood. I want to wish everybody the happiest of holidays. Merry Christmas, joyous Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, and whatever you may celebrate, even if it's to the beer gods or to Odin himself. And let's go out Monday night and win that game. Vikings win. Vikings win.